Yeah, I know, little butterflies in the tummy. Good morning. We just left, or actually about half an hour. We've been on the trail for about half an hour. We just left Allison and Phil's. Had a wonderful stay there. And breakfast and coffee this morning. Packed up all our new gear and all of our food. And we hit the trail this morning, always with a little bit of butterflies. Not sure how far we plan to go today. We both have new shoes, so we're breaking them in as we speak. So we'll see how that goes, and if our feet feel good, go further. If we're struggling, we'll not go as far today. We have about 75 miles to get to our next spot, and looks to be like a gradual uphill for most of the way. This would be Crater Lake. So how you doing, Pierre?
Good, good. Thank you, Phil and Allison, for yesterday taking us into Meaford and getting us all kitted out and going to REI and a Whole Food store and just being wonderful, kind hosts.
It's very amazing. So we'll catch you later down the trail.
Good morning. Back on the trail. We've come far, but at the same time, we haven't come far. If you look over here, there's the ski hill. We came down around that 2 days ago, and then we hiked down over here, crossed the interstate highway, and then kept on moving over to the east. And then if you look over this way down in the valley down below, there's the little town of Ashland where everyone goes in to resupply. We were there last night. Cute little town, has a Shakespeare festival, has a really sort of nice sort of little vibe as almost like a mountain town, has a university, a lot of interesting people in the town, great food. Took Allison and Phil out to dinner at a really nice restaurant that had like tables along a little creek. It was really worthwhile. So if you're ever here in Oregon, you can put this on your list as a nice little pretty town to visit.
Good evening. It's about 7 o'clock almost, and we're at camp. We just spent half an hour or so just laying in our tent listening to a podcast. We were just a bit tired, and though it was a pretty tame walk today, I don't know, we just decided to rest a little bit before dinner. So we had the time. Yes, we had the time. And we collected water. We have a little bit of water, a pipe running fairly close to our camp. And so we're stocked up on water, and we're gonna make some taco dinner tonight, go do dishes, and then have our little dessert and go to bed on time. Yeah. And then we have a long water carry tomorrow. Our first water source is 18 miles. We're gonna have to camel up before we leave. But this is our site tonight, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So here is our source of water. The black pipe there with some fresh water coming out of it. Well, we don't know exactly how fresh. And there's a little creek or whatever here. We are doing our evening dishes. Pierre is guru of dishes.
We're gonna go up the trail.
Leave no trace. So he filled up his pans. We've got our powdered soap and a dishcloth. And the water source is about 380 feet from our tent site. This is how we do dishes. This is how Pierre does dishes.
There's a lot of water.
A little bit of powdered soap.
New.
We've got our titanium bowl there that I drink out, or that I eat out of. So basically he's pouring the soapy water from one into another. You don't want to do it in the water because that leaves that soapy residue. Even though it's biodegradable soap, it's leave no trace principle to do it away from the water. And then we dump the water, water the plants.
And we call it good.
Good morning. We are headed down to the water source again from our campsite last night. Just wanted to explain. We have a 18-mile water carry because there is apparently no water between our camp and 18 miles from now, which is the next reliable water source. There's one in between, but reports say that it's dry. So, walking down a little boardwalk to the pipe spring that we were at last night, and we're gonna fill up one 3-liter bag. So Pierre will have his chest strap liter, and then he'll carry the 3-liter bag on top of his pack, and then I'm going to be carrying the other 3 liters. So Pierre's going to be the man and carry a little bit extra this morning until we run through that first liter. So thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome.
Just had a nice breakfast, another beautiful day.
Cool.
Probably gonna attempt to do up to 26 miles today. We'll kind of see how things go and what happens with the water. Apparently there's snow as we towards the end of the day, as we gain elevation, so we will see. But up until then it looks pretty flat, so we will catch you down the trail.
Morning. We are about an hour in to hiking today, going down the trail. Oregon is often called the green tunnel of the PCT, and what that means is you don't have a lot of stellar views, but you are walking through, and I'll pivot around here, some really wonderful tall trees, and they're all different types of trees. If you notice the tree behind me, the different types of bark. So these are all different types of pine trees, and fir trees, which is very interesting. But, you know, I don't know how many videos of trees you want to have. So we may not be shooting as many videos as we normally do throughout the day. We'll try to find some interesting stuff to share with you. Our challenge, as Renee said, for today is our water is thin today. So we have about 18 miles to the next water source. So if you see over my back here, my seat here, if we go this way here, you can see that I've got stuck inside it 3 liters of water, an extra 3 liters of water to carry that we'll share between us. So, you know, that's what we're up to. Catch you.
So Oregon is known for its lava fields, and we're just getting to some first sign of walking through lava fields. Part of the trail. You can come around the corner here, you can kind of see the trail ahead, and then all of the lava rock up there, and down there a little bit. So I'm sure there's way more to come, but this is just a little taste of what we're walking through. Finally made it to camp after a 26+ mile day, considering that it was half a mile down to our tent site. which is on this lake, which you can't really see. It's called Summit Lake. Very, very shallow lake. Of course, then we're dealing with lots of mosquitoes. Nothing we haven't handled before, but still beautiful with the kind of moss hanging off the trees and the green. We just had some dinner. I had some macaroni and cheese. I finished up our pork rinds that we brought out from town, and we are going to do some dishes and then have our hot chocolate and dessert. We are whipped after a long day and probably gonna sleep well tonight. Say goodnight, Pierre.
Night.
Good morning. I didn't show you the lake last night, but we're headed out. Just had breakfast, ready to go for the day. And this is what the lake looks like. Just flat as a pancake. Beautiful reflection of the trees. Another beautiful day. We've got about half a mile walk out on this trail that is hard to distinguish a little bit. Not many people are back here, which is always good. But that left the mosquitoes, 2 humans only to mess with. So we did have quite mosquito fest last night and this morning, but we have definitely dealt with that before, and so we can well tolerate it for sure. So plan on 20 miles today, a little less than yesterday. Give our bodies a little break, and it looks to be a beautiful day.
Good morning. As Renee said, we're back on the trail. We just left Summit Lake, 20 miles. And I don't know if you can see, so maybe this light contrast in the camera, but there's Mount McLaughlin in the background. Mosquitoes are pretty thick. This section here was all supposedly snow covered and impassable just 2 weeks ago. It's definitely passable now, minus the trees, but it is definitely a little bit mosquito-y. So more down the trail. I'll flip it around and see if I can get a better picture of the mountain. There is a view of Mount McLaughlin through the trees.
Hello. We've been hiking all morning, getting ready to find a lunch spot, and finally climbing up to a point where we're getting some views, which is great. The trail is pretty steep, steeper than it's been for sure. We like to try to find a lunch spot that has a little view. It's beautiful. Very green. We finally see the snow that we have to contend with, and here comes Pierre. It's not so bad. A lot of people have come through there. The snow's quite dirty, so it gives a little bit of grip to it. So not too bad. But we've got a ways of it to go yet. Several more little bumps there, but we'll get to it. Shouldn't be too bad. We've been climbing for a while, which has not been the rule of this trail for sure. We've had a lot of this shale we've been climbing up, which is not super easy on the feet, but this is actually my type of climbing because you actually get views when you get to the top. And as you can see, we're getting some great views as we near the top. And then once we get to the top, then it's all downhill to our campsite. So always got to be excited about that. And it looks like, I don't know, sometimes there's a false summit. You go up further, which we'll see. But this is the trail, and this is the view. Pretty spectacular.
This is where we, looking over my shoulder, we came around all that snow over there. We're now on the opposite side. We've got maybe 100 feet to the pass. And as Renee said before, then it's all down. But it's a big day. But as you can tell, as you look over my shoulder, it was definitely worth the effort. We'll see it on the trail.
So we turn the corner, and this is what we have. No sign of the trail, other than that we do know that it goes down, down, down. There are several switchbacks, but as you can see, if you look way down there, you can see where the trail goes. And what everybody's doing is they're sliding down on their butts all the way down the snowfield to that area. So that's what we are going to attempt to do. I think Pierre's gonna go first.
God almighty, that's scary.
I know. We'll see what happens, honey. All right, I thought you were putting pants on.
No, oh, I got it. Yeah, you can control it good.
There he goes.
Say hi to the camera.
So, working towards the end of the day, end of a day of adventure, to say the least. It's always that type 2 fun that makes memories. And that's certainly what it was today. So we're finally walking on some clear, wonderful, soft trail through the woods. We've got probably 1.5 miles to our campsite.
Just a mile.
Oh, 1 mile to our campsite. So we're excited about that. We'll be pushing 7 o'clock again. Even though it was a shorter day, it was quite the day. So we finished through the snow, glissading, had a little incident where we couldn't find the trail, got lost.
We got lost, we got off trail.
We got off trail in a ravine. Second time off trail today, due to snow, losing the trail because of the snow. So who knows how many other people have done similar, but anyway, glad to be on trail. Glad to be almost done, but really, I'm enjoying this walk right now. It's so smooth and easy and beautiful. Catch you at camp.
Good morning. It's breakfast time. Tents are down. We're sitting by this log. This is where we had dinner last night. Renee's over here making dinner, or breakfast, sorry. And I'm having my little breakfast. And the sun is coming up. The trees are all lit up in the background. And it's going to be a nice day. We have about 19 miles into Crater Lake, Manzama Village. So we're excited about that. We'll camp there tonight and then pick up our package tomorrow, hopefully. See the rim of the crater. If it's open, we'll hike the trail along the rim. If it's not, we'll just take some images of it and follow the main trail. This is our first glimpse of Crater Lake National Park. Over there, I think there's a road that goes along the edge. So we are seeing the outside edge, and in the hole in there is where the big lake is. Apparently we are only 9 miles away from that, but it seems a bit farther now than reality. And what also is interesting is this is our first day where we have some clouds overhead. So we're getting a little break from the sun with the clouds. Video. So we were discussing whether we were going to see anything that notices we're entering the park boundary. I don't know. Can you guys figure out what we figured out? Apparently there's no mistaking when you enter a park boundary. Entering Crater Lake National Park, permit required for camping, unless you're a thru hiker who already has a permit.
Good morning. It is a town day, if you want to call it that. Although Crater Lake or Manzama Village is really just the resort, kind of like Grand Canyon, you know, has its own little city or town. So it's not going to be a fancy town day. We're going to stay in the campground, and they do provide showers and stuff from what we hear, so that'll at least give us some cleanliness, and we're going to try and rest. We got 18 miles today. We're actually about 10 miles from the national park border of Crater Lake. So we'll have a longer day today, and then tomorrow we'll take a little bit of a rest. Certainly in the morning, we'll ride a trolley or whatever, shuttle bus up to the crater at the actual lake and be able to see that site, ooh and ah, and then come down, make sure we do our box stuff, and then we'll take off and probably do maybe 5 or 6 miles to the nearest campsite tomorrow. And then we're on to Shelter Cove. As you can see, we're walking through the woods, and still, you know, because it's cooler here, I'm sure, patches of snow, which are easily navigable, no issue. Lots of grit from all this other footprints and dirt. So we'll catch you later down the trail. Good afternoon. We are headed towards Manzama Village. We have maybe a couple miles left, and we've been slogging through this snow, which is not dangerous or anything like it's been previously, or time consuming like previous, but definitely slippery, sloshy, and you know, you lose the trail once in a while because it's covered with snow. So 2nd of July, feet of snow. It's kind of funny. It's interesting, but it gets a little bit old after a while. But we'll keep on moving ahead because we're looking forward to Manzama Village.
So we're up at the rim of Crater Lake. We got a lift up with 2 lovely people. We're just hanging out at the lodge using their battery, and we're going to be going over this way and hiking along the edge to get out of Crater Lake. Apparently there's snow over there, but so far it doesn't look too bad. We'll next video tell you how this goes.